January has a limited number of viable talisman quality elections, with only a few in each time zone. But the few elections that we do have are quite good. And in particular, the Americas get an excellent 7th Lunar Mansion election on the last day of the month. Also featured in this month's guide are opportunities to make talismans for prosperity, safe travel, friendship, favor, and other good things, as well as a malefic election for causing discord and separation. Let's get into those details now. Thanks for watching the January 2023 Lunar Mansion Guide. I'm Nate, aka Postmuggleism, and you're watching my channel. If you enjoy this video, please click like and consider subscribing so that you don't miss any of my updates and other videos. 2023 is going to be a big year for my content. I have a lot in the works already, so subscribe now so that you get notified when I publish new videos. I've been producing these Lunar Mansion guides for over a year now, and I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who's been watching. Your feedback and support is deeply appreciated, and it's really exciting to have heard from a few of you that you're actually doing Lunar Mansion rituals as a result of watching these videos. Some of you even for the first time. That's really exciting for me, and so great to hear. I'm just glad that you found something useful in these videos, and I'm very grateful that you keep watching. So thanks for that. Now, out with the old, in with the new. 2023 has finally arrived, and if you're like me, you're gearing up to do even more magic than last year and to create some real change in your world. And this first month of the new year is as good of a time as any to get started. Saturn plays an unusually central role in January's elections. Most of the planets are bunched up in signs ruled by Saturn, and this rulership adds Saturnian flavor into the energy of those planets. This is the last party at Saturn's house before he leaves his domicile again for almost 30 years on March 7th. So I suppose it's only fitting that Saturn should be the center of attention. No doubt this will bring a slow-building, pragmatic energy to workings in these mansions, but also a strong one because Saturn is still in his domicile in Aquarius. January's elections are limited, however, by a series of unfortunate squares and oppositions and the Mercury and Mars retrogrades. So there are big sections of the month without any elections at all. Don't you just hate it when the gods are fighting? Oh well, we work magic with what we've got. So let's get into some of those specifics now. First, I'll go over all of the mansions briefly, summarizing their energy and their qualities this month, and the time zones in which they're viable. Then I'll dive into each with additional context, lore, and my takes on how each should be utilized under this month's astrological conditions. The month's elections begin on the 1st with a hangover election for Aussie merrymakers in the favored 3rd Lunar Mansion for attracting good things, though it mercifully does not take place until the evening. Then we take a long break until after Mercury stations direct on the 18th. Our next election isn't until the 20th of the month, when CET time zone has the waning moon bringing out the malefic side of the 22nd Lunar Mansion, good for sowing discord between people. 5 days later, the lunar cycle culminates with the 28th Lunar Mansion, an opportunity for prosperity in the Americas, with the moon now conjunct martial Jupiter in Aries, ready to get shit done. And finally, with Mercury direct, we can access the 7th Lunar Mansion in Gemini for friendship and all good things on the last day of the month, with a viable election in PST and EST time zones. These are the talisman quality Lunar Mansion elections in January. If you're looking for more opportunities to work magic or something different from what I've covered here, you can check my Lunar Mansion notes for the month to see if anything that didn't make the guide might still be suitable for your needs. These are cast-offs, so I wouldn't make a talisman in the election that's not featured in this video, but there are plenty of times that are still suitable for a quick spell or a one-off working. My notes are always included both in the resources section in the back of this presentation, and then also linked down below in the description below the video. Look for elections marked no aspects, because these weren't good enough to make talismans from, but there's nothing wrong with them otherwise. Okay, now on to the details for each mansion. And if you're new to my videos, please know that now that we've reviewed which mansions I'll be covering and what they're for, which time zones have access to them, and so on, you can simply skip ahead to the mansions that interest you using the links in the table of contents in the description below the video. Thuraya, the third lunar mansion, is one of my favorite lunar mansions. Its image is a seated woman with her right hand held over her head, as if describing a woman in a meditative pose with her right hand held in a mudra, which is a delightfully simple image to draw or engrave. The mansion's energy is decidedly feminine, and rightfully so, as the seven sisters of the Pleiades, and mythologically also their mother, reside within it. The Pleiades sisters are daughters of Atlas, who bears the weight of the world on his shoulders, and Pleione, a nymph and protectress of sailors. Their appearance in the sky in ancient times coincided with the summer solstice, then a time of planting and setting off on voyages, and the Pleiades are thus associated with presaging all good things in the sunny, summery months of the year, and therefore under waxing moons, such as the one in January. The spirit of the mansion is Amixiel. The lucky Aussies in the audience get the only viable talisman quality Thuraya election this month, in the evening of the 1st, when the waxing moon conjuncts the north node on the midheaven and trines the sun in Capricorn around 7 p.m. Thuraya is a great, all-purpose mansion for attracting good things into your life, whether that's financial prosperity, friends, love, or other forms of good fortune. The Pleiades sisters are also well known for protecting those who travel by sea and favoring those who hunt, which is interesting considering that Orion is said to chase them through the sky with amorous intent. Under this month's waxing moon, all good things are possible. The hungry north node is a powerful ally for attraction in itself, and the Picatrix says very specifically that Thuraya is for attracting good things. The trine to the sun in Capricorn is almost a bonus, but would make this election qualify as talisman worthy on its own. Two positive aspects with a waxing moon makes this a great talisman for bringing things that you want into your life. Skipping ahead to the 20th of the month, when the moon enters the 22nd lunar mansion, Dhabih, a mansion with trickster vibes, whose image sounds strikingly familiar. A man with winged feet wearing a helmet. Who could that be other than the silver-tongued, mercurial trickster himself, Hermes? True to form, the mansion is a confusing medley of magical qualities, each more mercurial than the last. To cure illnesses, to put discord between two people, to make servants and captives flee, to cause goodwill between allies, and to make captives escape, says Picatrix, Book 1, Chapter 4. And Book 4, Chapter 9 says that its talismans are for binding tongues so that they don't say anything bad about you. As the moon joins Mercury in Capricorn, and in this mansion, the Saturnine mercurial energies are fairly potent. Mercury takes on the nature of any planet that is configured with in the sky, particularly strong planets like Saturn, bringing out the logistical, methodical, calculative side of the trickster god in this case. The waning moon, however, elicits the illicit side, the malefic tendencies of this mansion, that of sowing discord in particular. Given the Picatrix Book 4, Chapter 9's explicit description of this talisman as being for binding tongues, I think that there's a strong argument for that being a malefic working, or at least one for it being a malefic adjacent or malefic compatible working. The point being, I think you could use this election to prevent people from talking shit about you. Like Mercury, the astrology of this election could really go both ways. A waning moon conjuncts the ascendant and also Mercury in the first of CET's two elections, while trine the north node, a powerful ally, and sextile the south node. A trine is, of course, a positive alignment. Specifically, the trine indicates that the energy of the north node is supporting and aligned with the energy of the moon, which is in Capricorn. So again, Saturnine, constricting, diminishing, controlling, hidden, ponderous, etc. And the north node is ravenous, demanding, and insatiable. So even as a trine, I feel like this is a powerfully restrictive and limiting energy, suitable for sowing discord and obviously for binding tongues. CET has two elections in Dhabih, both in the morning of the 20th. The spirit of the mansion is Geliel. On the 25th of the month, the waxing moon enters Batn al-Hut, the 28th lunar mansion, making it a place of prosperity and abundance, and conjuncts benefic Jupiter, the mansion's ruling planet. And now that Jupiter is in Aries, the nature of the greater benefic is less watery and mutable, less dreamy and impermanent, and instead is now fiery and cardinal, a no-nonsense go-getter. The energy of Batn al-Hut attracts abundance in the form of natural resources. The image of the mansion is a fish. Batn al-Hut means the belly of the fish, referring to an ancient Mesopotamian constellation, and talismans made under this mansion, according to the Picatrix, Book 4, Chapter 9, are for gathering fish. This can be interpreted as attracting abundance, but the metaphors are undeniably pretty fishy, i.e. Piscean. And so over the last year, I've been pretty excited about the Jupiter in its domicile in Pisces energy for 28th Lunar Mansion talismans, but given my own experiences thus far with Jupiter in Aries, I think there's something to appreciate about getting immediate and aggressive results, even if they're a little less amazing in the end. Sometimes you just need to get results now. That's the energy that I'm expecting from talismans made under this configuration in Batn al-Hut. PST and EST have one election each a little after 9 in the morning on the 25th. And this is a prosperity election with a garnish of victory as a treat. The spirit of this mansion is Amnixiel. The twins of Gemini, Castor and Pollux, weren't just brothers. They were inseparable allies and friends. They were Argonauts, participants in the greatest and perhaps oldest quest story in Greek mythology, the search for the Golden Fleece. They stirred up lots of other trouble as well, sieging Athens, among other conquests, but ending dramatically with Castor's untimely death after an unfortunate cattle rustling episode went sideways. Pollux, a son born through his mother's indiscretions with a swan that was actually Zeus in disguise, was immortal, but his human-sired brother Castor was immortal, so the inconsolable Pollux was forced to pray to Zeus to restore his brother to life. Zeus split the difference with Hades, and the brothers were permitted to alternate, spending a day above ground while the other spent the day in the underworld, and were eventually promoted to celestial status as minor gods with their induction into the Zodiacal Hall of Fame as the constellation Gemini. It's from this myth that the 7th lunar mansion, Dhira, gets its uniquely positive attributes, and I'll wager its image as well. A man clothed in robes and with his hands extended to heaven as if praying, since it was the prayers of Pollux that saved his mortal brother Castor and earned them both a place in the heavens. PST has 2 elections, and EST gets 1 in the afternoon and evening of the last day of the month, in the 7th lunar mansion, while the waxing moon in Gemini, ruled now by a direct Mercury, trines Saturn in Aquarius. The trine to Saturn, as I mentioned previously, slows Mercury down and makes them pragmatic and serious, but also enduring. This is a great all-purpose mansion, which the Picatrix Book 1, Chapter 4 says this about. Make images to increase merchandise and profit, and to travel safely, and to increase crops, and to cause friendships, and to expel flies, and to destroy officials. And it is good to go into the presence of kings or other high nobles, and to cause the king or other lords to be benevolent, which Book 4, Chapter 9 sums up as being whatever you wish that pertains to good things. So you can safely use this mansion for any positive workings that you want, and even though workings in this mansion may take some time to manifest results, those results should be effective and enduring. That concludes the Lunar Mansion Guide for January 2023, a very short list of very strong elections that I'm personally planning to make good use of. Dhira is a great mansion, and I'm really looking forward to getting as much of that last bit of Saturn's good side that I can while Saturn is still in Aquarius. I mean, we've earned it, right? The last 3 years have been generally brutal, but this is the hard work part of that grand cosmic cycle where we lay the foundations for the future. I want to make sure that our foundations are as strong as possible, and when this time has passed, the only way to take advantage of that energy for another 30 years is if you've captured its essence in talismans. Image magic, or talismanic magic, is great for this reason. It allows us to capture the energy of highly charged moments for later use, like lightning in a bottle, though in the context of Saturn, it'd be more like lead in a bottle. After all of the seriousness of the last few years, I'm sure you're ready to move the hell on from this ponderous energy, but there will come a day when you need that stability and endurance. You'll want more control, and you'll need to impose more order. And when that happens, you'll be very glad if you took advantage of the opportunity to make a 30-year supply of talismanic materia. As always, this presentation is linked in the description below this video, along with my day-to-day Lunar Mansion notes if you're interested. Additionally, in the back of this presentation, there are some other helpful links if you're new to Lunar Mansion magic, including my own guide and video on how to perform a Lunar Mansion ritual. If you enjoyed this video, please click like and consider subscribing both here on YouTube and also to my email newsletter at postmuggleism.com. I have a lot of exciting content planned for 2023, and I don't want you to miss anything. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one.